Joining us now, Democratic Senator Chris Coons of Delaware. He serves on both the Foreign Relations and Judiciary Committees. Senator, good morning. So you questioned Kash Patel in that hearing yesterday on whether he works for the American people or for the White House. Let's take a look at that exchange.
Who does the director of the FBI work for, Mr. Patel?
Senator, thank you for that question. The immediate report for the director of the FBI is into the Office of the Deputy Attorney General. Then that report is taken into the Office of the Attorney General and ultimately the White House and the chain of command there.
So the FBI works for the White House?
No, the FBI is a member of the Department of Justice and has been the long-standing application.
And who does the Department of Justice work for?
They're in the executive branch, as all members do at the White House.
Attorney General Bondi gave a different answer when I asked her the same question, that they work for the Constitution and the American people.
So, Senator, take us inside that room, your assessment for people who may have just seen a couple of sound bites, your assessment of Kash Patel's performance, and many have said it was a performance because so much of what he said in that room contradicts everything he's said for many years now.
Well, there was a stark difference between years of public statements in his book, Government Gangsters, on many podcasts and speeches and rallies where Kash Patel talked openly, frequently about retribution against the political opponents of President Trump, and his testimony yesterday. I focused on two core questions that I thought had some chance of troubling Republicans if they were listening on the committee. One was, who would you work for as director of the FBI? And the other was, if given an illegal or unconstitutional order, would you be willing to disobey it and to resign if pressed? I asked that exact same question of Chris Wray. He answered appropriately that he would resign rather than carry out any illegal order. And on the question you just played, who would you work for? He answered who you report to. And even when pressed and given a chance to answer differently a second time, he kept focusing on the FBI director works through the DOJ for the president. That's the core issue here. The FBI needs to be politically independent. And I asked him several different ways over 2 rounds. Would you not obey an order if directed by President Trump, either to stop an investigation into someone connected to him or in the White House, or refuse to open an investigation if it was unfounded or unethical or unconstitutional? I was not at all reassured by Kash Patel's answers yesterday. I will vote against him for FBI director, but I thought it was important to focus in a calm, clear way on the questions that might concern Republicans. And frankly, I'm not persuaded that they were listening to what was being said yesterday and paying attention to the very troubling long record Mr. Patel has of partisan statements that suggest a focus on retribution.
Yeah, it doesn't look like very many Republicans are interested in voting no on him. A lot has been happening this week. And then, of course, we've had the plane crash as well. One thing that has got perhaps a little bit less attention that I know that you've been focused on is the total freeze on U.S. foreign assistance. Right. I've been here. My daughter is a data scientist. She works in malaria research. Her job has been cut. Malaria is actually one of the things that Senator Rubio stood up in his confirmation hearing and said was very beneficial to the United States. What's the impact? But I'm more interested in what is the impact on the United States of cutting these aid programs around the world, even if it is only for 90 days. I mean, let's say it's all reinstituted in 90 days. What's the damage that's been done to America's not just reputation, but national security here?
So 3 things on that, if I could. We had a hearing on foreign relations yesterday about China and the U.S. competition globally with China for the hearts and minds, the allegiance, the engagement of people around the world.
Where China is doing very well.
China is advancing rapidly in their engagement in Africa, in the Caribbean, in Central and South America, in Southeast Asia. And part of the point of our being a reliable partner, decades of partnership in global public health, in development, is so that we can say we are a reliable partner. Freezing all of these programs for 3 months means many of them will never come back. Folks who get laid off for 90 days are going to go do something else. Many of the small contractors, the businesses, the local employees are being let go or shut down. It is true, Secretary Rubio has helped to ensure there is a humanitarian exemption, but there's lots of work that's done to help promote democracy, to push back on Chinese and Russian disinformation, to monitor diseases. We were just talking about there is an Ebola outbreak in Uganda. There's a Marburg outbreak in Tanzania. These are both lethal diseases that spread rapidly. The United States plays a key role in keeping us safe from threats that come from abroad, public health threats, and in keeping our partners and allies safe and in helping them. By showing we're not a reliable and trustworthy ally, this 90-day freeze, which may go on longer, I think puts our safety and security and our reputation at risk.
Senator Coons, good morning. The Trump administration did say they revised the aid freeze, said that for life-threatening instances they would get it there. We'll have to see what happens. But I wanted to turn you about another matter of our relationship with international partners, neighbors closest, in fact, Mexico and Canada, who are subject to tariffs. President Trump, again yesterday, said that though some specifics are being worked out still, that 25% tariffs for both those countries would go into effect tomorrow. Give us your reaction to that. What would that mean?
So President Trump, on the day he accepted the nomination at the Republican convention, said, on my first day as president, we will begin making America affordable again by bringing down costs. And millions of Americans who voted for Donald Trump, according to polling, principally did because they thought costs were too high. If you think costs are too high now, wait for a 25% tariff, which is really a sales tax, on all the fruit coming in from Mexico, on all the softwood lumber coming in from Canada. If we've got a housing affordability crisis, putting a tariff on all the building supplies that come into our country from Canada, if we have a shock of prices at the grocery store problem, putting a tariff on all the fruit that comes in from Mexico, those are just two concrete examples, will only increase costs. Some analysts say the price at the pump will go up 7 cents a gallon immediately, and both Canada and Mexico will impose countervailing tariffs. President Trump doesn't seem to understand this. He says over and over that foreign companies or foreign countries will pay these. No, they won't. Americans will pay them at the gas pump, at the grocery store, and in their housing prices. Also, why on earth would we put tariffs on a partner and ally like Canada that poses no threat whatsoever to the United States? So Senator Kaine and I are introducing a bill that would require Congress to sign off on tariffs against close allies and partners. In the last administration, in his first weeks, President Trump slapped tariffs on close partners and allies like Australia, the United Kingdom, Canada, alarming and annoying partners that we've relied on for decades. We gave the president the authority to unilaterally put tariffs in place decades ago because we didn't imagine Congress at the time only thought it would happen in the context of a war or against an adversary, not against our close partners and allies.
And all of this predicted by so many people during the campaign. Tariffs equal higher prices on consumers. And here we are. Democratic Senator Chris Coons of Delaware. Senator, thanks as always for your time. We appreciate it.
Thank you.